What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Darkfriend Social. For those who don't remember who the hell I am, I saw Andrew in the chat saying this because it's been like 5 years now since I've done one of these. I'm Nae'Blis. Welcome to the Darkfriend Social. We're going to have some ridiculous talk about the Wheel of Time. We've got some news to get to. But I've got a fun guest on with me today. I would introduce him by his real name, but I think I want to introduce everybody to the Tweeter of Chaos. Welcome, Tweeter of Chaos.
Pleasure to be here.
Guys, the Tweeter of Chaos is officially Kevin Angus. Grade Kangus
One of many
on Twitter. Yes.
One of many.
Welcome.
Oh, it's good to be here. Just stretching out.
Yeah, get limbered up for the show. Yeah. So I had never met you before. About like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks. What's it? About a month ago now, right? I never met you before. You know that part in Step Brothers where they're like, "Did we just become best friends?" I think that happened.
Real life in real time. We said that, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's my best friend now. He shares my ridiculous sense of humor. So yeah, you're my best friend. Okay, so
that's how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had fun at JordanCon. So Kevin, I asked this for every guest on my show. Who the hell are you? Tell all these people who the hell you are.
All right, I'm Kevin, and I post stuff on Twitter that's kind of like weird, but not like offensively. Well, sometimes like a little like 50% like offensive. Like you wouldn't show it to your mom, but you could show it to like your sister or your brother.
Got it. So it's like sister brother humor, but not mom humor.
That's pretty yeah. I mean,
but what if you have like what if you have like a really cool relationship with your mom? Like, would it be okay?
I'll allow that. Yeah, I mean, okay. I don't think my mom does follow me, but it's not. I don't really post content I'd want her to see. But I can't stop her.
Do you ever text your mom like, "Mom, did you like the Trolloc boobs I posted earlier?"
I did have to give her a little walkthrough. She's like, "I don't understand how to use it. I don't even remember what account I made to follow your account." And I'm like, well. It's like a microblogging platform, and you kind of see you see what you want to see. I don't know.
This is your explanation of Twitter.
Kind of, yeah. Well, that's how I use it. I mean, I just block whatever I don't feel like seeing, muting or otherwise. So I mean,
fair enough. Okay, I see on here we have is it grandma humor?
Oh yeah.
So grandma humor, but not mom humor. Got it.
Yeah.
So Kevin made his debut on Twitter like a year ago ish.
Pretty much exactly almost a year, yeah.
He is now a international superstar because you've met people internationally, so you really are a superstar. And we're going to get into some of that today. Now, I have a lot of shit to get to. Like, this is going to be a fun show. Now, as always, I want to remind people, Kevin, what do you have that I asked you to have prepared for this show sitting right next to you right now? Do you mind like holding that up?
Of course, I've got.
Kevin also wears wigs. And so
of course,
Kevin and Nae'Blis will wear wigs for money because we are desperate shills that want all of your cash. So if you feel like donating your cash, wigs will go on. If you don't get a wig. It's just how it goes, right? No wigs.
I've sold out. Yeah.
Yep. So let's get into some Wheel of Time talk as people talk all about wigs. Before we do that, though, make sure to like the video. It helps YouTube share it around. So please do that. And then, of course, the wig stuff, too. So without further ado, I want to get into something before we get to the Varen news, before we get to some of the other fun stuff I've got planned. JordanCon. Let's talk about this. Okay, so JordanCon was a lot of fun. One of the things they announced at JordanCon was a bunch of casting stuff. Like they had this 30-minute video that Rafe and company put together. We got to see the Aiel for the first time, which was awesome. And there's all this cool stuff. We got to see what I think is the accepted chamber. Yet there's one thing that trumps all of it to me from that whole weekend, and it's my takeaway. So I'm not going to give it any more preface than that. I'm just going to play this clip, and then we can discuss afterwards. So without any interlude or whatever intro, here we go. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Rima Tiwiata. When I auditioned for Wheel of Time, they had a false name for the show and false characters. The script was elevated and magical, but I still didn't know what show I was going to be in. When I got the role, I found out. I was shocked, but calm. It felt surreal, like I was floating. I love being in Wheel of Time. It's so easy to become immersed in Sheriam. Their thoughts and moods and tactics and shifting intensities. And I look forward to fans experiencing the dynamics between Sheriam and novices, and Sheriam and Aes Sedai. Enjoy Series 2.
The gambit of emotions as we watch that live. So
It's perfect. It doesn't get old.
no, it really doesn't actually. Like I've seen that a lot now. And okay, so first here's what I was thinking. Like I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this isn't interesting because they just got done playing like Hot Dane Bornhold. Right? Jay Duffy's like all serious, like I'm getting into the role and blah, 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 like, you know, like normal actor stuff and looking hot as Dane Bornhold. And then we get that at the beginning, and I'm like, okay, this is an interesting take. And then she's like, and it's like the camera work is kind of like half deliberately bad. And then she touches the tree, and I'm like, okay, this is terrible. What the hell is this? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a joke. And then the coup de grace, right, is the dandelion at the very end. Like, so perfect. Like, and now I love all these characters, but like now Sheriam is now my favorite character.
Easily.
bad?
I mean, she's kind of pushed out all the competition in one fell swoop.
Right? Like I have been waiting to talk about this for a while. Like that was freaking hilarious and awesome and like exactly the type of thing I would have come up with. So I love it. I love her. Rima Tewayata, I didn't know who you were before. You are now my favorite actress on the planet.
We got two fans right here now.
For
Easy.
reals. For reals. Like seriously. So yes. But yeah, so what were your thoughts on in some of the other news? Like obviously announcing her as Sheriam at Jordan Con, like there was some other stuff that came out. What were the big takeaways for you as a Wheel of Time fan?
Well, I had a few out of body experiences during that video. That was one of them, of course, without saying anything much more about that. The second one was Daniel Henney being like, oh yeah, Avian Trollocs are the best, which means hottest, of course.
Duh.
Obviously. He has a good taste, you know. So that was two. And then I guess the third one would just be seeing the outfits of the IU for the first time. That was the first thing you saw in the video too.
Yeah, the costuming was amazing. Like legitimately now, like all of that. Now, I thought it was interesting. It was definitely and I'm trying to like reading the tea leaves here because I think it was misleading because Rafe talks about like, oh, this special room that we're in while we're filming this, and then they show the Aiel in it. Now, I think that threw people off because it makes you think like, oh, is this like a room that's associated with Aiel? But the reality of it is, I think it's really damn obvious that that's the accepted testing chamber, right? Like, am I wrong?
I agree at this point. Yeah, I was in the moment, like you said, I fell for the misdirection of thinking it was tier, like that was that
Yeah.
they conquer it at the end of season 2, and we start there in season 3. That was what I was imagining, and I think it worked because everything I've seen since then has brought me to be like, yeah, this is the accepted test room. It has or a ceremonial room used for that, and the Aes Sedai testing or something like that.
Well, it's the arches. Like, it has to be the
Yeah.
arches. Now, what makes me think of why they put the Aiel there, they were filming at the time, right? Like, they were filming then. So they probably had the Aiel in costume, and they were like, what's one set we're not using right now? Let's go to that one and film this little video for JordanCon. That's what I think happened. Not canon, but in my head it is. So
That makes sense, though.
like, yeah, I think so. So I think that was great. I think the one other thing that got buried in all of that chatter, right? Rafe confirmed something that a lot of people were worried that they were going to do, that he confirmed they weren't going to do. And I'm very happy about that. And that is, of course, announcing that Elida was going to be in the show. Now,
As
he
she should
cleverly,
be.
he did not say Elida would be in this season, although I think she will be. But he said Elida would be in the show. So that basically says they're not combining Elida and Leandrin, which is a really damn good idea to not do that for many
That's the right
reasons.
call.
So yes, anyways, I thought that was some big news. But there's been much that's come out since then. But before we get to news, Kevin is a guest on this show, but I have also invited Kevin to be a guest on a podcast that I'm a part of. It will be in the near future. He doesn't know that. In fact, we just last night recorded an episode with Gus and Allie from Wheel Takes, which that is a banger of an episode. I can't wait for that. That comes out tomorrow morning. But I thought, since Kevin is new to Valon After Dark, I wanted to start playing some clips to get Kevin primed to come on the podcast to understand what exactly he would be getting involved in, because I think like he doesn't really get it yet.
You've done the homework for me. I was thinking about doing this. I'm like,
right.
But...
Well, here we go. So I will play a couple of our commercials to give you an idea of what Valon After Dark, which is the podcast I am a part of, with Jess, the Amerlin seat, and with Jenny, also known as Lesbian Nerdy. So here we go. Let's have a little word from our sponsor, Kevin.
It's time for your accepted test. Get those clothes off and get your boobies out. Wouldn't find her on a Seafolk Raker? Get your boobies out. Want to be a wise one? Get in the sweat tent and whip those boobies out. Time to raise a new Amerlin seat and need to make sure everyone present is a woman. Time to get those boobies out. Are you tired of having to whip your ample boobies out to prove you're a woman? Is it a bit insulting that the only way to prove that you can channel Saidar is by taking your clothes off and showing that you have 2 sacks of flesh hanging from your chest? Extremely small-chested Aes Sedai, and everyone keeps saying you aren't enough of a woman? Enough. Introducing Channeling Saidar. Yeah, I know it's not new, but for some reason until now, we never used the fact that you can channel Saidar to show you can channel. Instead, we've relied on boobies for too long. Here's how it works. When someone wants to know if you can channel Saidar to make sure you can do something important like vote for the Amerlin, instead of taking your clothes off and letting your boobies out, you can just channel Saidar, which is something only someone who can channel Saidar can do. I know, crazy, right? The next time someone wants to see your boobies for proof you can channel, tell them to fuck off, and then use the one power to balefire them. Your boobies are not anyone else's business. Boobies.
Boobies.
Giving me a lot to think about. Wow.
Well,
Really
you
insightful.
know, it does call into question the time-honored tradition from the Aes Sedai of like, are you a woman? Let's see your boobs.
Prove
You know, like, I think there's better ways, right? I just think there's better ways. So we will periodically sprinkle in here and there a few more Valon After Dark clips. But before we do that, okay, Kevin, you are known for what on Twitter?
Primarily creations involving and utilizing and manipulation of Trolloc nipples and the breast region as well. Yes.
Trolloc nipples and Trolloc breast is your area of specialty.
I usually use the word supple, but I do mix ample in there, so I like the
Hmm.
crossover there.
Would you say maybe that this qualifies you, and say yes, by the way, would this qualify
Oh, yeah,
you
of
as like
course.
an expert on Trollocs?
I'm gonna have to say yes.
Okay, good, because I've prepared about 7 or 8 questions on Trollocs that I have not
Oh,
prompted
boy.
you for at all, that I would like for you to
Oh.
answer for the people, because you are the resident Trolloc expert, and
That's right.
I want you to educate these fine people all that you know about Trollocs. And so I've got a couple things together here that I would love to get your off the cuff answers to on Trolloc. So let's go ahead and start this off with question number 1. What do Trollocs do for fun when they aren't killing people?
Well, it's kind of not really known, but they really like backgammon. I
Mm.
don't even know the rules of backgammon. It eludes me, but for some reason it translates well to Trolloc, the Trolloc tongue. So backgammon, fucking, and posing in salacious, positions for like merge all to happen upon them by and be like, ooh,
Ooh.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So
very like
that's an
voyeuristic.
odd eclectic. Now I always get badminton and backgammon confused for some reason. Which one is the one with the racket that you hit a little
That would
birdie
be
thing?
badminton.
That's back.
Yes.
Bat. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's not what they're into. They're into
I actually don't even know what backgammon is.
backgammon.
I
It's
just
the
know
one
they
with the
play it.
triangles on it, I think. Right?
Yeah, but not the one with like the pegs from like the diners or whatever where you
Are you
jump
saying
the pegs.
Trollocs
Not
don't
that
like
one.
Trollocs don't like pegs or pegging?
I feel like they are a bit. They don't consider it enough. Like I think if they were introduced to it, they'd probably come around to it, but they're not going to get there organically, like on their own.
Gotcha.
They're just not very adventurous. Yeah.
Okay, second question. Do Trollocs name their children?
Yes, but I think by like age 3 they forget them on both sides. So just
But like, explain Narg then. Did Narg remember his name because Narg's smart?
I think that he that might have been the smart factor. He might have come up with it, like it might be a nickname. Nothing says this that they might be called by something else when they're older, but when they're born, their parents might have a name for it, and they forget along the way. So
Got it.
It's yet to be seen whether or not he is actually smart or not. So
You know what? We need to pause
Oh.
because Village Mattress, who I got to meet in person at JordanCon, outstanding. We will go with the first ever. This is the one that Delusions bought. You get my. Here we go. Hold on one second. I call this the Boris Johnson.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm,
I love that.
Yeah. I take great care of it. So Village
It's
Mattress
the,
said, so do Trollocs prefer the Bro or the Monsiere? I don't know how. I guess I'm pronouncing that wrong. Please please put on wigs. So, question for you, Kevin.
The answer is bro.
Bro.
Yeah, because I don't really know what the other word is, so I don't think they would know it either. But you're welcome
Got
to
it.
get some education both ways. This is a two-way education
Yeah.
street. So
Well, I love that. So real quick, let me find. Okay, we'll come back.
man,
to
it's a
that.
good thing I actually grew my beard out because when I have like a baby face like I usually do, this wig makes me look like my mom. So I'm glad that I have the beard to offset that right now.
Okay. Now, this is kind of a follow-up to the last question because I said do Trollocs
Ooh,
name their
okay.
children. But now, do Murdral have names? Because Murdral are Trolloc children.
Oh, you're right, and they probably would remember it too because they're pretty smart. I mean, I guess I've never seen an infant size one. I'm not sure if they grow really fast or if when they're born fully sized. In which case, I mean that'll be a C-section, if not I don't know, whatever, a T-section, I suppose, maybe to
A
split them right down the
T-section.
middle. But yeah, a T-section. But Yeah, I would say that they definitely do for sure. Like they've got to have them, but they don't tell anyone. Like they're kind of like close to the chest with it, because they're like it's kind of lame. Like they're
Got
pretty
it.
nerdy. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Do Trollocs copy the mating habits of the animals that they share traits with?
Yeah, and that's why people don't
Hmm.
realize that bird trollocs have cloaca, and nothing else below. Little known fact right there.
Okay. Well, you thought that was bad. Next question.
Just one hole. Yeah.
Do Trollocs masturbate?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That was the unspoken fourth thing that they like to do, in between posing, fucking and backgammon.
Got it.
They usually
So
diddling.
Trollocs are chronic masturbators.
Oh yeah.
Got
I
it.
mean, that sometimes they'll do it when they're charging into battle. You just see their hands just traveling down as they're running.
Like monkeys at the zoo.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. We need to wrap this up. So, are there non-military roles for Trollocs? Like, is there like secretary or director of HR for Trollocs, or?
Most of the behind the scenes stuff is run by the women Trolloc, the ones that are when they're not nursing and being bred, as they like to refer. They're doing all the administrative roles that they're really the unsung hero of like the lowest level of Shadow Spawn stuff. You know, they get a lot done.
What even is this show? Okay. You know what? You guys have all learned a lot about Trollocs today that I bet you didn't know, right? We've learned what have we learned today? We've learned that Trollocs like to pose and play backgammon. They do name their children, but they typically forget unless they're smart like Narg. Murdral have names, but they don't like to share them because they're usually weak names or something. I don't know. They do copy the mating habits of the animals. They are chronically masturbating. And they do have, like, there is a director of HR Trolloc out there, right?
Absolutely.
Got it. Well, this has been great. It's time for a wig to come off.
All right.
They got to give us all the monies if they want more wig. So, okay, Kevin, before we get to talking about more news, I think it's time for yet another introduction. I think it's another word from our sponsor, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Now, this one is not really a commercial. This is so a couple months back, this guy named Michael Livingston released a book called Origins of the Wheel of Time. And since Michael Livingston is going to be our guest of honor at WotCon this year, he was, feeding me some behind the scenes stuff that he didn't put in the book. And he found a deleted scene from the Wheel of Time that Robert Jordan had decided to pull out that he gave me to read on Valon After Dark. And I think it's really cool. It's really interesting. It's definitely, it would have been a different book series had this stayed in. So I thought I would let you hear this clip. This is from our podcast when we released this to the world. And then we'll get your reactions after we're done. So here we go. Hello and welcome to Lost Writings from the Wheel of Time. With the release of Michael Livingston's Origins of the Wheel of Time right around the corner, which Robert Jordan's epic fantasy, the story, The Wheel of Time, is back in the news. And in his book, Michael Livingston scoured Robert Jordan's notes, revealing to the public some of the information that was buried in those notes, including the identity of Nakomi. But also during this research, entire segments of writing were uncovered. Robert Jordan had written many scenes that were cut from the released versions of the books. Today, we are going to release one of those scenes to you. Now, this segment that we're about to hear comes from The Shadow Rising, and it was cut from the final release. The notes attached to the deleted scene have the following caption. In Robert Jordan's handwriting, it says, "Need to write the men more like I write the women." And that was it. Now, it's unclear why the scene was cut from the final release, but here it is, written from Moraine's point of view, as she tries to talk Rand out of bringing the Aiel into the Westlands. Jess, do you mind reading it?
I would love to.
All right.
I'm channeling my inner Kate Redding.
Ooh.
As Moraine walked up the dusty stairs that led to Rand's audience chamber in Ruidian, her face calm serenity, her thoughts were nothing close. Rand al'Thor was infuriating and ignorant. She had dedicated most of her life to finding the Dragon Reborn and guiding him, and he was going to throw all of her work away, all of her plans, in one move. She reached the door, or what could be called the door. It had no actual door, and one of the maidens had hung strips of cloth that served as a barrier to entry. She brushed right through and entered, intent on pushing Rand to the right course of action. She had always believed that she could turn anyone to her way of thinking, and much of the time she had been right. As she entered, Rand al'Thor was standing in front of a group of 6 men who sat on cushions on the floor. Rand was a strikingly tall figure, especially compared to her, standing more than 2 heads taller. His height, red hair, and gray eyes indicated that he was Aiel, but his clothing belied that description. He was dressed in a coat of blue silk with red dragons etched in on the sleeves. His trousers were also blue, with room carved for his ample crotch. Moiraine suspected that in another time she would have liked to lay her head down on that bulging mass between his legs, but this was not the time. As Moiraine entered, Rand continued to speak to the men on the floor, ignoring her. So, he wants to ignore me? Well, Moiraine thought. The men on the floor, the clan chiefs of the Aiel, looked uncomfortably at her and then Rand. Rhuarc, the clan chief of the Tardad Aiel, uncomfortably smoothed trousers, readjusting his penis. The other chiefs did the same, showing their growing discomfort at Rand ignoring her. Bale went as far as to stick his hand in his pants and readjust. Possibly he had an erection. Moiraine wasn't paying attention, though. Her eyes were locked on Rand. He made his best attempt at ignoring her, but he knew that no Aiel would remove her. Then Rand spoke. Moiraine, I see you decided that you could join this all-male meeting. So be it, although I think you'll find that you don't belong. You got here just in time for the clan chief ceremony. Moiraine had heard of this. It was a ceremony that signified the clan chiefs devoting their clans to he who comes with the dawn.
Oh, good God. I know it's coming.
The wise one had not known what would be involved, and in reality, Moiraine did not care. This boy wanted to have his ceremony, he could do it, and then she would set him straight. Rand turned back to the clan chiefs. Begin, he said, cold-faced. But only men may be present for the ceremony, Han, the clan chief of the Tomanel explained, looking disgusted at being asked to perform this ceremony in front of anyone not male. She is nothing. Begin. I bring change. Rand was cold as ice and hard as iron. The chiefs obeyed, disrobing. The first to step in front of Rand was Rhuarc. Rhuarc completely removed his clothing, his ample penis dangling between his legs. It was no wonder he was able to please 2 wives.
Lord.
I devote my clan, the Tardad Aiel. I am male. Look on me and know, I am male. Then, Rhuarc began shaking his hips and causing his enormous penis to spin around in a whirlwind pattern, mocking the appearance of a windmill. If Moiraine had been a brown, she would have likely taken notes on the ceremony as each clan chief followed suit, stripping off their clothing to bare their members. Some of them were large and some were disappointingly small, but each and every one said the words and made the windmill motion toward Rand. Finally, Rand repeated the gesture, correcting Moraine's imagination. The boy was certainly no boy. Never in her life had she imagined.
The writing cuts off there, as though Robert Jordan decided against continuing this scene. But nevertheless, the swearing of the clan chiefs and the ceremony associated would have been an interesting addition to the story. Thank you for joining us on Lost Writings from the Wheel of Time. Until next time.
I cannot believe you're able to get so far without breaking. I can't, like, that just...
You know, I've been on Twitter for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't more people been telling me I need to listen to this? Where was the disconnect? I see content creators everywhere. I'm getting to know everyone a little bit by why was this one like they call when I'm active after midnight my time, Kevin After Dark. Obviously I knew there was that connection, but like why didn't people spell it out for me? I'm a bit dumb sometimes.
I can't help you.
We're saying this because your humor would mesh well with this and other entire group of...
I don't know, but I don't know what was humorous about that. That was a real deleted scene.
I mean,
totally legit.
Humorous and compelling, and you could tell it was authentic by the way the door was described.
Yeah,
that's how you know it was authentic.
Yeah. Well, I thought before we'll talk about Varen next, but I thought one more thing that blew up on Twitter. This became a phenomenon, if you will. So I'll read this. I tweeted this out because I was having fun one day on ChatGPT. And So I asked ChatGPT to write a story about Kevin, the sexiest Trolloc known for his nipples. That was pretty much all I gave. And I said, set in the world of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. And so I said, write a story about that, Kevin, or ChatGPT. And here is what it gave. I posted this on Twitter, but I think everybody should enjoy this. So Kevin was not your typical Trolloc. He was leaner, meaner, and more agile than any of his kind. And while most Trollocs had rough, scaly skin, Kevin's was surprisingly smooth and supple. But what really set him apart were his nipples. They were the most supple and sensitive of all of the Shadow Spawn. Despite his unusual qualities, Kevin was a loyal servant of the Dark One. He had been bred to fight for the Shadow, and he relished the opportunity to destroy the forces of light. His arch nemesis, however, was the Ogier. The Ogier were a race of large, sentient beings with sausage-like fingers and a love for gardening. They were the polar opposite of the Trollocs, who were savage and bloodthirsty. Kevin hated the Ogier with a passion, seeing them as soft and weak. But everything changed when Kevin met Narget. Where it came up with Narget. I'm sorry. Okay. She was a fellow Trolloc with deep red fur and piercing yellow eyes. From the moment Kevin saw her, he knew he was in love. Her strength and ferocity were unmatched, and he admired her for it. As they fought together against the forces of the light, Kevin and Narget grew closer. They would steal moments together in the shadows, whispering sweet nothings and sharing stolen kisses. But their happiness was short-lived. As they soon found themselves on opposite sides of a fierce battle. The Ogier had launched a surprise attack, and Narget was leading the charge. I don't know how she switched sides here, but so be it. Kevin was torn. He knew he had to fight for the Dark One, but he couldn't bear the thought of hurting Narget. In the heat of battle, Kevin was distracted, and an Ogier managed to land a heavy blow on him. As Kevin lay on the ground, he thought he was done for. But then he felt a soft hand on his chest, and he looked up to see Narget standing over him. She had defied her orders and come to his aid, and together they fought off the Ogier. After the battle was won, Kevin and Narget were inseparable. They knew their love was forbidden, but they didn't care. They had one another. They had each other, and that's all that mattered. And as they cuddled together in the darkness, Kevin couldn't help but marvel at how supple his nipples felt in Narget's hands. The end.
Brings a tear to my eye every time.
I mean, it's so sad and yet so uplifting. Because there is a happily ever after, even for Trollocs, according to ChatGPT.
And you think it's gonna it tricks you at one point. You're like, oh, this is submersive modern media. Can't have a happy ending. No, it kind of turns it around.
Yeah, they really need to. I'm actually hoping Amazon adapts that short story. They could add something to it. So, okay, I think it's time to talk about something serious. Okay, we're done with the.
We
dumb
do that
shit.
Here.
Yeah, we do that occasionally here. So
all right.
I will play quickly the clip from we had some Varen news. Did you hear about this Varen lady that they cast or something? Varen. Well, here I'll trigger your memory.
Oh, that's Perrin with a vagina. V.
Yes,
Varen, yeah.
yes, just like that. Okay, here we go. We'll play a little clip that came out, and we'll talk about it.
The Wheel of Time and Mrs. Sidhu.
I love it. I love that it seems like it's going to go for long, and then and we're back.
I knew how long the clip was, and it still got me.
And we're back. We'll try that one more time here. Okay.
The Wheel of Time and Mrs. Sidhu.
All right, I'm going to throw up the stationary clip of that. So This is Mira Sayal being announced as Varen, which is a casting announcement, but it's also a casting announcement that I think many of us kind of thought was coming, right? Like,
Yeah.
like-
I think this was a consensus. Like, you had a couple fringe theories about like who she could be, but I think the consensus for a while was that she would be Varen.
I agree. And I'm just very excited because it's weird when you know something, but yet finally when you like actually know it,
Yeah.
it feels more real all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
this is like the first real serious excitement I think I have for that sounds
No,
that
I
sounds
understand
strange.
what you mean. It's been
Like,
a while.
I'm excited for season 2 all of a sudden again because, like, first
Yep.
of all, Varen is one of my top 3 favorite characters in the series. And I think she looks amazing in that clip. And I think Mira Sayal, if you know anything about her or have seen her act, will kill it as Varen. Absolutely kill it. So yes, this is we are going to avoid late book spoilers because I know we have some here. We'll just talk about Varen up through the book series so far, or the early
Perfect.
series. How about that?
Yep.
So to answer your question, Dana, we'll do no, we will not go all the way spoilery here.
Yeah,
But,
we'll go like 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah,
Keep it
we'll
vague,
stick with early Varen, right?
Yeah.
We'll take it up to let's call it Path of Daggers. So
That's fair.
here is why I say that, because I am super excited because I love her. And then we've got this whole potential that Shora could be cast as Cad Swain.
Yes.
And oh my God, if those two are in this, like, and then we've got Rosamund Pike as Moraine. I mean, damn, that's some serious actressing power there. So okay, first of all, your thoughts on Varen as a character?
Pretty compelling. Is the kind of character that you instantly want to know what she's doing and what she's up to, and it's kind of like this carrot that's dangled for like a really long time, and you'll get like little bits and pieces. But I think she's very satisfying and rewarding to pay attention to, because you can see that there is something going on with her in terms of she
Right.
has her own machinations, she has her own agenda, and it's just very interesting because she's not like a lot of the other Aes Sedai that we have to see, especially through point of view characters. She's kind of like always described, not negatively, but aloof. You know, people just don't think much of her, and then when you get, occasionally get a glimpse in her head, you see like how well she's fooled everybody, kind of in that regard.
Yeah, like I love her for many reasons. I like that she is more than she seems. Like, I think I like that about Grendel too. Like, I know that seems like a weird comparison, but like, I love
can
that
see the
Grendel
comparison,
is more than she appears to be, right? And Varen sort of falls in that same category. And I love also now that we're getting some of these characters that are going to play long roles throughout the series, and we've got the actresses in place for those now, like Shiriam, for instance. It gets me very excited. So the interesting thing is this. So let's shift, because we're now getting these bigger announcements. What, in your extremely educated opinion, because I know you posted your theory on, not theory, it's a fact, according to Kevin. When is the show coming out, Kevin?
I'm pretty sure, for reasons that you can find in my detailed Twitter thread, that September 1st feels like the right day for me. I feel like that season 2, I believe, will premiere on September 1st. Yeah.
So what is what's the logic behind a September 1st release date for season 2?
Do you want the logic or the reasoning? Because
Both.
the reasoning isn't very logical, and the logic might not exist.
Okay, let's hear about this.
All right, so I've got to pull it up. There's a lot going into it, but a lot of it centers around, various crumbs of clues, kind of like an ARG planted by the Tweeter of Chaos, who is definitely not me. So I'm definitely not solving my own puzzles so that somebody actually solves
Got
them.
it. Got it.
That's absolutely not what's going on here. Because if I was in their position and I was putting all this effort into making this special, dropping these clues, I would want somebody
To help figure it out, decipher it.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you remember when we were in London last year at the premiere? And do you remember that?
I have no memory of this.
Oh, well, then you aren't the tweeter of chaos.
No comment. Yep.
Okay,
We
continue.
definitely
with your
only
theory.
met at JordanCon.
Yeah, it was the first time.
First time for sure. So one of the first clues that I actually listed was this time that someone had posted a question like, "Oh, let's tag people and ask them when they think season 2 is coming out." And Landman Dragrin on Twitter tagged the Wheel of Time account, and they responded with that the second season of Cheers premiered on September 4th, 1983. That's wrong. That's not the date it premiered. It was, what was the actual date? It's in here somewhere. Regardless, it was incorrect, the answer that they gave, which means that, I started to look for mistakes as clues, like if they're dropping very obvious things that you can Google that. Anyone can Google when season 2 of Cheers premiere, and it's like September, like a week after that or something like that, or the end of September. I can't remember exactly, but this isn't based on logic and facts. This is based on impulse and mostly impulse, actually. So that's a clue because it's wrong. It's patently wrong, and September 4th falls on Labor Day weekend for us this year, and September 1st would be the start of Labor Day weekend for us this year. So the idea is that they'd pick a nice, comfortable window where everyone can kind of sit down and chew through a few episodes. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm kind of on the fence on whether they drop 3 or do singles, but
So let me tell you why you're wrong.
go ahead, lay it on me.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm
I
ready.
gonna hurt your feelings?
No, not at all. I like to be proven wrong with theories.
So I think we're gonna get a release date sometime in November.
You think the release date itself, like the premiere, will be in November?
Correct. So I think we will find out the release date at San Diego Comic-Con in July.
That's a fair guess too. I'm in agreement with that.
I think we'll finally see a trailer. I think we'll probably get the release date. It seems like a good high-profile event. The New York Comic-Con comes up in October.
Yep.
They will be doing lots of promo events because streaming service marketing tends to ramp up in the month or two right before it releases. It's different than older, it's just different. And I know people get upset at marketing, but like they know what works. Trust me, like they do. And they'll release it when Amazon thinks it's financially good to release it. I think we'll see it very similar to the last season's release date. I really do, because that window worked very well for them. It's on the off year for Rings of Power. I think that's what we're getting. I think we'll see a November release again. That's what I think. And I it may not be what everybody wants to hear, but at least we'll have that kind of run up through the holidays again. Wheel of Time did, just to remind everybody, even if you were not a fan of episode 8, the series did remarkably well. Remarkably well. The better than they thought it would, actually. So just as a primer out there, like even if you kind of left the series season 1 on a down note, if you will, right? There's hope. And I think Village Mattress brings up a really good point here. They're also going to market this on Thursday Night Football throughout the winter. So I think that we're going to see something similar. So I see people asking about WoTCon. Are they dropping any hints at WoTCon? Before I answer that question, let's throw up a promo here. So
Nice.
let's WoTCon. What is WoTCon? Well, WoTCon is a Wheel of Time only convention run by a bunch of Wheel of Time content creators and giant fans. It's really run by fans is what it is. This all came about a couple of years back when we were at JordanCon and we were sitting around on the Sunday after and we were like, why don't we do more of this? And then we just decided we were going to do another con. So we did. And this one is very different feeling than JordanCon. I'll say that. Kevin, tell everybody the good news. Are you going to be at WoTCon?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Kevin
I'm
is going to
absolutely
be at
gonna
WoTCon. Are you?
There you go.
Are you going to be at WoTCon, everybody? Ask yourself that question. You need to come. Please come.
Please come.
You'll have a lot of fun. It will be a great time. To answer your question, though, on whether they are dropping anything at WoTCon, the best I can tell you is to stay tuned. I won't say any more than that. I can't promise anything, but that's all I'm going to say. Okay. If you can't make it to WoTCon, there is going to be the virtual memberships will go on sale here very, very shortly as well. So, you can always tune in and find some of this stuff then. So that is WoTCon, and that's a great promo. Let me actually, since we're in the middle of promoting stuff, let me throw up one more thing. So I am very proud. This is actually one of the companies for my real life job that I do some consulting with. The name of the company is Queerencia, and they are a sponsor not only for WoTCon but also for my channel. Queerencia is a very awesome LGBTQ plus clothing oriented brand. They donate to the community. You have to check out the website because it'll explain the whole story, but it really is awesome. It's a Black gay owned business that helps spread awareness, helps support organizations, and they sell some really cool stuff. They've got these really cool Pride boxes on sale right now where you can get like getting ready for June, which is Pride Month. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can get in a box. You can get, if you use my coupon code Nae'Blis, so queerencia.co is the website, use the code Nae'Blis, you will get 10% off your entire order, and it is worth it. So since we're promoting things, definitely go check that out. I guess since I'm also promoting things, I should throw this out there, even though Jenny is not watching. Jenny Lesby Nerdy is sells these on her website. We call them jackhammer dicks. She hates that I make this, so don't hit Jenny up and ask her where you can get your own jackhammer dick. So let us also, since we're at it, I think that's all the promoing I have. Kevin, do you want to see another leak from?
Yeah, absolutely.
This comes from also comes from Michael Livingston way back in the day. We have the White Tower map, which you can see back here. Like that's Tar Valon, right? Well, there's also a leaked map of the Black Tower. And it's an interesting layout. I think it follows with Robert Jordan's themes. But yeah, so I just thought I would show you that. Thoughts?
I like the unkempt forest the most. I think that's a nice. It's good because they do like a lot of like physical activities and chopping of wood. You know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Manly stuff. So you got to have an unkempt forest.
So Kevin, am I taking from this that you're a fan of unkempt forest? Like you prefer that as opposed to like bare ground?
I like it because it presents a space to be cleared. Like it presents a state of being that I'd like to transition it to a different state of being. I.e.,
so when you meet a new forest, your first inclination is to, I can't wait to clear your forest. Is that kind of what
I can't
you're
wait to get my like
be a part of that
out and just buzz that baby down and just
that's
get
the more
down to
fun part, right? Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to understand like if that's the thing, a reasonably
that's what I'm here
for. I see here Joshua Franco is all about the reasonably trimmed forest.
All right,
I think so.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no problem with that. Also, if you want, just take out the buzzers and just buzz that baby down.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we keep going, let's go ahead and throw another commercial out here for you.
I was winning too much in the end with my lucky dice, and now they are accusing me of cheating. I'd better call Gall.
I just happened to be hanging out with a murderer and someone saw it. Now they're accusing me of being a Darkfriend. Time to call Gall.
I'm a High Lord of Tyr, and one of the lowly peasants got mad that I murdered his brother for looking me in the eyes. Now the Dragon Reborn wants to cut my head off. I better call Gall.
Hi, I'm Gall. Have you been accused of something and you don't want anyone to think you actually did it? Do you want to get away with it? I believe everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and I can make sure no one is left alive to prove you're guilty. You better call Gall. I will stab the fuck out of your accuser with spears, making sure there is no one left alive to actually find you guilty of a crime. So, if someone has accused you of a crime, or they want to kill you, I will kill them first. You better call Gall.
Yeah, I was vibing. I was liking that.
Yeah. Well, if you're not a Breaking Bad fan, you may not catch the deep cut reference there. But for those, it's still decent. But if you're a Breaking Bad fan, and you know who Saul is, Saul Goodman, then that will make even more sense to you. So
You should watch that show if you haven't, dear listeners, because it's a great show.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. You know what? For the hell of it, I'm just looking at some of these and I'm like, we're going to play one of these because this one comes from the last show. And this one's a good one, although I already lost it. Shit. I got too many of these in my little thing here. That's what she said.
Got too many things to play with.
Mm-hmm. Where'd it go? Shit. Oh, here it is. Okay. This actually is from the show. So you can see clips. Here we go. The following announcement is for everyone in Faldara. It's a huge secret, so don't tell anyone. The Horn of Valir is under Agelmar's throne. We can't let enemies find it. If we're attacked, here's the plan. Grab a pickaxe and start hacking at the floor. It will take a minute, it will be loud, and our enemies might figure out what's up before you reach it. So use some elbow grease and really hack the shit out of the dais. If someone evil walks in, here's plan B. Shout something at them. Even if they run for help, they'll know this is a huge secret that they're not supposed to know. Defend the Horn of Valir, because in Faldara, we protect our secrets. We protect them with pickaxes and yelling and desperation.
That was a little bit silly, wasn't it?
A little silly.
A little bit
It,
silly.
it wasn't real. It wasn't.
It was a
real,
little
Kevin.
campy. It's a little
Wasn't
campy.
real. Wasn't real, Kevin. Are you? Are
There's
you?
a lot I like.
Are you shitting on the humor?
No. I'm saying that there's a lot I like about.
I'm offended.
activity
I'm
and-
offended.
Oh no, I'm saying the scene itself existing within the episode is a little campy.
I am so offended.
You should be like proud
I'm so offended.
because you picked out the campiest bit of the episode.
You know, this will get you cheered up.
Oh boy, that's the stuff.
Does that do it for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Hmm.
Good job, Lauren, for that one. Shout out to Lauren for making that.
Yes, absolutely.
He
Shut
gets
up,
wild
Lauren.
sometimes. He gets a little.
Oh, he is. He is a crazy man, that Lauren. Okay, Kevin. So, what are you most excited to see in season 2? Let's talk about this.
Ooh, I think that there's not a lot of opportunities for Trollocs in like books 2 and 3. So I'll be excited to see how they squeeze them in because they're not gonna not do it. I mean, they realize they've done the market research to realize how much, not just me, but the entire fandom as a whole kind of amps up the Trolloc stuff. They drop promotional stuff for Trollocs. They're gonna have them in there. They're gonna be there. So it'll be cool to see how that goes on. And then I'm also just kind of excited to see if like Perrin gets married, kills his wife again or something like that. I don't know. Just fun stuff like that.
You want to see him kill his wife again?
No, I'm just curious if he's going to. I'm just might be like his thing,
He loves to
Not
kill
like-
his wife.
Yeah, he's like at first it's like, he didn't realize that he liked it, and he's like, oh man, this is kind of nice. And it's like he becomes like a serial killer of Randland. Kind of a bit of a dark turn for him, but I think that I trust Rafe to handle it well and with poise and dignity that parent would deserve.
So, Kevin, I'm going to ask you a personal question. You don't have to answer for yourself, obviously. This can be just in general in your life. Do you know anybody or have heard of anybody asking for a friend here that struggles with ED? I know it's a serious condition.
One person.
Well, I'm gonna make a recommendation to you. Here, just check this out. Hey guys, can we be serious for a moment? Have you ever left your Beltane celebration because you were afraid of where it might lead? Seen a well-turned calf and not had the reaction you should have? Is your Tower of Genji not exactly getting it done? Herbs from the wisdom not helping? Erectile dysfunction is a very serious condition and can affect not only your self-esteem, but your most important relationships. If you are dealing with erectile dysfunction, you and your partner do not have to suffer. You can get help. Introducing the Water Bond. The Water Bond will give you greater physical prowess, the ability to sense shadow spawn, and the ability to literally fuck for hours. But don't take it from us.
My name is Moraine Damodred. My husband, Tom, is great with the mustache, but we met later in life, and when it came to sheathing the sword, it was more like the eel among the lily pads, if you know what I mean. Then came the Water Bond. I was walking bow-legged for weeks after I bonded him. He can literally go for days. Let's just say that man never misses with his dagger.
Don't suffer through erectile dysfunction alone. Seek out your nearest Aes Sedai and ask about the Water Bond. You won't regret it. Side effects include mental domination, manic behavior, and the death of your Aes Sedai, loss of privacy, and emotional mood swings. If you're in a monogamous relationship, it is not recommended you seek out the Green Aja for your bond. Water Bond. Who doesn't want to fuck for hours?
I'm being sold on it in a way I've never been before, or not for me. I mean, sorry, the one person I know.
Yeah, not for you. The one person you know,
very
right?
sold on it. Yeah, just the one.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what it's not anything that people should be embarrassed about, right?
No, there's no shame.
You need to open up about this kind of thing. It's a real medical condition. You shouldn't be ashamed. We need to get rid of the stigmas. You
hear that, Zach? Well, the one person I know.
Okay. On that note, I always wrap up after about an hour. Should I wrap up, Kevin, or should we play one more clip before we go?
I think it's too hard to go. Just one more clip.
One more clip?
One more.
Do you want something sexy as AF or something a little bit more, down to earth?
Make it sexy.
Sexy AF.
Make it
okay.
sexy.
All right. Here we go. You're going to enjoy this one, Kevin.
Hey, Tarvalin residents. Are you and your special someone struggling in the bedroom? Is the fire gone? Do you need some adventure to reignite your love life? Nothing will set your groins ablaze more than a visit to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace offers the finest and most luxurious intimacy-themed ter'angreal. How can Erotica Sedai help? Well, I'm sure you've heard of a red rod ter'angreal. Well, the Pleasure Palace carries 3 sizes: standard, Aiel, and of course, for you adventurous ones, Ogier. Hey guys, embarrassed that your bits and pieces are a bit too small? Well, you need Erotica Sedai's specialized mirror of Miss ter'angreal. It will have you looking like the Tower of Genji. While we're on the subject, guys, you ever wonder if she's faking it or not? Well, Erotica Sedai has this patented Keeper of the Chronicles figurine ter'angreal. When she hits her climax, the ter'angreal will play trumpets and announce, "She comes, your Amerlin seed." telling your special lady that she's the most important woman in the world, and of course, letting you know that you did your job. And I'm sure you've heard of Dreamweave Terangreal rings. Well, the Pleasure Palace has ring Terangreals that will help you stay in the mood all night. And for a limited time, Erotica Sedai is offering a once-in-a-lifetime discount. If you book your session here in the next week, you and your significant other can get your very own specialized fantasy dream shard session for 50% off. Erotica will use her dreaming skills and create the fantasy of your dreams. You want to watch him with a Trolloc? Anything is possible. So come on down to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. You can find us right next door to the Thirsty Tinker Inn in the Tarvalin Red Light District near North Harbor. Once you come see us, you'll never have a problem coming again.
I know it might just be with the way that it's phrased, and there's more to it. But man, I cannot get the image out of my head of using the Mask of Mirrors to look like the Tower of Genji yourself, and then just fucking like hardcore. Like you are the tower.
Like the tower. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you are the tower itself, and the person that you're having sexual intercourse with is a person who appears to be having sex with a tower that has a modest-sized member attached to the end of it.
You know what would make that even more painful is I think the tower is sort of not round.
Yeah.
It's
got,
like
weird edges,
it's a rectangle essentially,
Yeah.
right? That might not be comfortable. Just a thought.
I still can't get it out of my head though.
That's interesting. Well, that is the perfect note to end this ridiculous show on. Guys, thank you for coming. Kevin, thank you for coming on. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me.
It'll be even more fun when we have like more and more Wheel of Time news coming out, like when the show's out. I would love to have you back. When we'll do some more fun, if you will, on the show. But I think this was a fun episode. I can't wait to have you on Valon After Dark. For those that are asking, Valon After Dark is the podcast that I'm a part of. Episodes drop. Episodes drop on Tuesdays, so that is tomorrow. And it's tarvalonafterdark.com, I believe, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Just look for it. It is a lot of fun. We have fun on that. And the episode tomorrow is extra cool because we have Allie and Gus from Will Takes on. That's always fun. So
They're
I'll
really
just leave it
funny.
at that. So, Kevin, any last thoughts for all of the people?
Stay frosty. Keep your peckers up and your peepers down. Keep your peckers up, peepers down, and stay frosty. Those are my 3 rules.
I want to add something that we've learned about Kevin as well. If hypothetically at one of the many Wheel of Time conventions, if you choose to participate in one of the many orgies that happen at these events, and you come in contact with Kevin, just understand that if your forest is unkempt, he loves to trim. There we go.
It goes in my checked luggage. I never leave home without it.
And you're talking about an axe to cut down trees, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, on that note, bye everybody. See you soon.